Game Pass has absolutely loads of games, but there's actually more than you think. Don't believe me? Well, what if I said that some of these titles were hiding games within them? From side quests to sprawling minigames with much more depth than you realise. So here are a few of the best games you never knew were hiding on Game Pass that we found, and I'm going to get Bex to kick it off with an absolute classique.
Fallout 4 is a pretty bleak game. It's an RPG set in a nuclear wasteland after all. So, you're going to spend a lot of your time just desperately trying to stay alive while mutants, bandits, and other assorted enemies make that seriously difficult. But if it all gets a bit too much, you can unwind by doing some retro gaming on your trusty Pip-Boy computer. You'll find holotapes strewn across Fallout 4's world, containing everything from old-school text adventures and space shooters to a platformer game that has players monkeying around with barrel-tossing bad guys. Sure, I've heard of that last one before, but I just can't think where. Basically, there's loads of games within this one game, proving you can have fun anywhere on Game Pass, even if it is an irradiated wasteland where your breath can poison you.
Now, Hazelight Studios are the masters of the split screen, having delivered two incredible co-op adventures with It Takes Two and A Way Out. But even the best duos have their off days, and if you get sick of playing with your partner, I know I sure do, both games feature a ton of player versus player minigames for you to hash things out. The colourful cartoon platformer It Takes Two is just brimming with zany games like Tug of War, Laser Tennis, and of course Whack-A Cody. The person playing as May will definitely be going for that last one though. A Way Out is a much more serious affair, starring a pair of hardened criminals as they try to make their great escape, but they still manage to find time for the occasional dip-off and the odd game of Connect 4.
Let me tell you about Sea of Stars. It's exactly what it looks like, a pixely ode to the golden days of JRPGs, complete with all the magic, mystery, and turn-based battling you'd expect. It takes a lot of cues from classic series like Final Fantasy, including the way it sneaks an entire other game into the mix. Where Final Fantasy had blitzballs, aquatic shenanigans, and the card collecting fun of Triple Triad, Sea of Stars introduces players to their new favourite slot machine style combat game, Wheels. It's a blend of luck and strategy, and it's incredibly compelling, and a nice change of pace from the main quest. You'll find Wheels enthusiasts lurking in taverns across the game's world, always ready for a new challenger. Just try not to completely lose track of the main game while you're playing. You are trying to save the world after all. Sea of Stars also features one of the best fishing minigames you'll find anywhere. Although if you were looking for more places to sling your hook, Game Pass has a ton of options, including Stardew Valley, Far Cry 6, Skyrim, and of course, Sea of Thieves. The Assassin's Creed games have always been great at being historically accurate enough to create authentic, immersive past worlds for players to explore, but not so accurate that we can't have fun stuff like weapons designed by Leonardo da Vinci, or in the case of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a weirdly entertaining Viking dice game. When you're not busting heads and running riot across the British Isle, you can sit back and relax with a nice game of Orlog. Easy enough to pick up, but a pretty serious amount of strategic depth to it. This head-to-head dice-off is sure to delight gamers who spend all their time in The Witcher 3 playing Gwent. Plus, those old-timey Viking dice sets look great, all hand-carved and rustic.
Tonal whiplash now, as Stardew Valley is one of the most relaxing games ever created, with its gentle game loop, cozy rural atmosphere, and its cast of charming NPCs. It's basically the last place you'd ever expect to find yourself blasting your way through hordes of enemies, right? And yet... To be fair, they are just virtual enemies. Anyway, the Stardrop Saloon contains an arcade game called Journey of the Prairie King, which you can actually play. It's a Wild West style twin stick shooter that throws an endless sea of orcs, mummies, and other assorted baddies your way, while you spin your 6 shooters for all they're worth. It's the perfect way to spice things up when you're up to your ears in farming schedules and social niceties and all that other rubbish.
We'll finish off with the Yakuza series, or Like a Dragon as it's now known, because no matter what you call it or how long you've been playing, these games always manage to let you do something wildly unexpected. These beautiful brawlers are as famous for wacky side quests and madcap minigames as they are for brutal combat. And with 11 different titles from the series currently available on Game Pass, you can rack up hundreds of hours of fun without even throwing a punch. You can settle your differences with a bit of kart racing and circuit racing. Blow off some steam at the karaoke bar, the golf course, or the batting cage. Basically, no matter how many hours you spend scouring the streets of Camarocho, there's always some strange new surprise waiting for you.
Thank you, Bex. Now, folks, I want to know what is the best game within a game you've ever found on Game Pass. Hit the comments to let us know. Bye-bye.